Welcome back to my channel. This is Dima Tutorials. If today is the first one on this channel, please start by clicking on the subscribe button so you can see all my videos and also get notified whenever I upload a new video. In today's lesson, we are going to learn how to effectively answer questions on comprehension passages. We're also going to learn about phrases and clauses, including strategies that will help you to quickly and easily identify the different types of phrases and clauses and their functions in a sentence. So I encourage you to stay tuned to the end of this video so that you wouldn't miss anything that I'll be teaching you today. Now let's get right into the lesson. The word comprehension means the ability to understand what to read or listen to. In WASC, you are given a passage and you are asked to answer questions from the passage. And for you to do that effectively, you have to first understand the passage. To understand the comprehension passage, you should read the passage with every bit of your mind. You need to fully concentrate on the passage to get the main idea of the passage, understand the flow of idea, and the central gist of the passage. Secondly, always go through the questions first and then the passage. This will prepare you to focus on the things you need to look out for in the passage and help you to save precious time. Again, always bear in mind that all the answers to the questions are found in the passage. Do not give answers outside the scope, outside the comprehension passage that you have. Limit your answer to the information you have in the passage. Now let's look at the different types of questions found in WASC. The first type of question is direct question. Direct question. This type of question usually comes between number 1 to number 3. The answers to these questions are found in the passage. It only requires you to fetch the answer from the paragraph it appears, but always note that you must not copy the sentence where the answer occurs verbatim. You need to give the answers in your own words, like someone who understood the passage. For example, in 2019 comprehension passage, the first question was, state 2 reasons why the writer and his friends always came home late. The answer to this question is clearly seen in the first paragraph of the passage. While answering this question, you do not have to copy the lines where you have the answer. You should prove that you understood the passage by answering in your own words. You can answer it like this. They went swimming after school. 2. They wanted to avoid house chores. I hope you're watching this video with WAEC past question of 2019. If not, please get 2019 English language past questions. It will help you to aid your understanding of this lesson. Another type of question found in WASC comprehension passage is inferential question. Inferential question. The word infer means imply. It is a type of question that requires you to reason out the answer. It is the type of question that requires you to reason out the answer. An example of such question is found in question D and question E of 2019 past questions. Question D says, in what 2 ways was the writer unlucky on that day? In what 2 ways was the writer unlucky on that day? In the passage, there is no place where the writer is said to be unlucky, but there are certain things that he narrated that happened to him, which can be said to be unlucky. So this question requires you to figure out the unlucky things that happened to him, the writer, according to the passage. And the unlucky things that happened to him on that day was that he lost his fish and he was severely beaten by his parents. So to answer the question, you can say, he lost his fish, number 1, and number 2, he was severely beaten by his parents. The next type of question you will find is on the figures of speech. Figures of speech. On this aspect, the questions are usually on the simplest figures of speech, simile and metaphor. Even if you are not a literature student, you should acquaint yourself with these 2 figures of speech, simile and metaphor. Simile is a figure of speech which compares 2 things with the use of like or as. Simile compares 2 things with the use of like or as. An example is, he is as tall as an electric pole. He is as tall as an electric pole. He have compared a person to an electric pole with the use of as. So the figure of speech that I've used is simile. Another example is, he is as fat as a cow, or he is fat like a cow. He is fat like a cow. I've compared a person to a cow with the use of like. So I've used a figure of speech known as simile. Now let's look at metaphor. Metaphor means comparing two different things without the use of as or like. It is a direct comparison of two different things without the use of as or like. You can say, he is an electric pole. He is an electric pole. I've compared a person to an electric pole without the use of as or like. He is a cow. He is a cow. I've compared a person to a cow without the use of as or like. So the figure of speech I've used so far is metaphor. In 2019, the candidates were asked to find the figure of speech of this expression. I had stirred up a hornet's nest and should be prepared for the sting. I had stirred up a hornet's nest and should be prepared for the sting. The figure of speech in this expression is metaphor, because the writer had compared his action and the consequences of his action to hornet's nest and the sting. He had compared his action and the consequences of his action to hornet's nest and the sting. I hope you understand. I hope you are following so far. Please, if there's something you don't understand I've said so far, let me know in the comment section. I'll be there to answer your questions. Moving on to the next type of question found in WASC is questions on grammatical expressions. Questions on grammatical expressions. Usually, the grammatical expressions found in WASC comprehension passages or comprehension questions are adverbial phrases or clauses, noun phrases or clauses, and adjectival phrases or clauses. I hope you know that a phrase is a group of related words without a finite verb. A phrase is a group of words that do not have a verb. For example, in this sentence, I am teaching you how to answer comprehension questions correctly. And if I underline comprehension questions correctly, please, in this video, I'm not going to be underlining due to the limited function of the app that I'm using to do this video. But I'm going to be capitalizing the words that I'm supposed to underline. So whenever you hear underline, just know that I'm talking about the words that are capitalized. Alright, so if I underline comprehension questions correctly, the underlined words is a phrase because it does not have a verb in it or an action word. I hope you know that a verb is an action word. The word in a sentence that shows action, that carries the meaning of that sentence, is a verb. Then, a clause is a group of related words with a finite verb. A clause is a group of words with a verb. Example, if I underline how to answer comprehension questions, then the underlined words is a clause because there is an action word. So the first thing to do when you get to this type of question is to find out if it's a phrase or a clause. When that is done, then the next thing is to know the kind of phrase or clause it is. Like I said, there are 3 types of clause or phrase usually asked in WASC: adverbial, noun, and adjectival phrase or clause. Now, how do you know the type of phrase or clause that you have in the question? An underlined expression is a noun clause if it functions as the subject of the sentence or object of the sentence. As the subject of the sentence or object of the sentence. The subject of a sentence is the word or group of words that initiates the action in a sentence. For example, the tall man came here. If I say the tall man came here and I underline the tall man, in this case capitalize the tall man, then it is a noun phrase because it does not have a verb. That's why it is a phrase. Secondly, it initiates the action in the sentence. It initiates the action in the sentence, the action of coming. Hence, it is a noun phrase functioning as the subject of the sentence, or you can say subject of the verb came. Then if I say, the tall man killed a goat, and I underline a goat, then it is a noun phrase functioning as the object of the verb killed. An object of a sentence is the noun that receives the action of the verb. An object of a sentence is the noun or noun phrase that receives the action of the verb. In the above example, a goat received the action of killing, and the initiator of the action is the tall man, which is also a noun phrase functioning as the subject of the verb killed. Then, if I underline the tall man killed, it has become a noun clause because of the presence of the verb kill in the underlined words. So, the tall man killed is a noun clause functioning as the subject of the sentence. Then, if I underline killed a goat, we still have a noun clause that functions as the object of the sentence. Please, if you have questions, relate them to me at the comment section. Then, adjectival phrase. Adjectival phrase or clause modifies or qualifies a noun. That is to say, it gives us more information about a noun or a noun phrase. For example, if we have this sentence, the tall man killed the goat whose color was black. The tall man killed the goat whose color was black. Then I underline the tall. Then I have an adjectival phrase qualifying the noun man. It tells us more about the man. Which man? The tall man. It gives us more information about the man. Then if I underline whose color was black, I have an adjectival clause because of the presence of the verb was in the underlined words. And it tells us more about the goat. Which goat was killed? The goat whose color was black. It gives us more information about the goat. So it is an adjectival clause modifying the noun goat. Now let's look at adverbial clause or phrase. Adverbial clause or phrase has to do with a group of related words that tells us more about a verb. For example, the tall man killed the goat very quickly. The tall man killed the goat very quickly. The underlined words, that is capitalized words, very quickly, is an adverbial phrase modifying the verb killed. The underlined words do not have a verb, so that makes it a phrase. And because it tells us more about a verb, that is why it is an adverbial phrase. To identify an adverbial phrase or clause, you just need to figure out which words it gives us more information on. Now, if I say the tall man killed the goat because he bought it for Christmas, the tall man killed the goat because he bought it for Christmas, then I underline because he bought it for Christmas. The underlined words have a verb, an action word bought, so it is a clause. Because the underlined words tell us more about the verb killed, or because the underlined words tell us the reason for the action of killing, then it is an adverbial clause qualifying or modifying the verb killed. The last type of question you will find in WASC comprehension passage is on vocabulary. Vocabulary. Here a word is underlined and you are asked to find a word or phrase that can rightly fit into the space where the word occurs in the passage. This is where knowledge on English vocabulary is tested. That is why it is pertinent for you to find out the meaning of any unfamiliar word you come across now that you are still preparing for the exam, and endeavor to use them in your daily conversations. When I was preparing for WASC years ago, I had a book I called Vocabulary Book. There I will scribble any unfamiliar word, the meaning and example. That attitude helped me a lot in developing my English vocabulary. Maybe you should adopt the same method. It will help you. So when question is asked in this section, make sure the word you are providing can accurately replace the one in the passage. Make sure it has the same tense as the one in the passage. If the one in the passage is in the present tense, then the word you will provide should also be in the present tense and vice versa. For example, in 2019, one of the words the candidates were asked to replace was concerned. Concerned. Another word for concerned as used in the passage is worried. Because the tense of the word is in the past, my answer will also be in the past. I hope you understood today's lesson. Like I said before, if there's any question that you have, let me know in the comment section. I will surely answer your questions. So this is where we draw the curtain of today's lesson. I do hope you find it helpful. If you do find it helpful, please click on the like button if you have already subscribed, and if you have not subscribed, click on the subscribe button and also on the like button to help us promote this video on YouTube, and also to help get you notified whenever I upload a new video. Please share this video to all your friends on all your social media platforms, Facebook, WhatsApp, Twitter, etc., so that you can help as many people as possible to see this video. Thank you very much for watching. See you in another video.